All right, let's talk Ralph Lauren, because what they pulled off this holiday season was wow. Just wow. We're talking record breaking numbers that didn't just meet expectations, they absolutely blew them out of the water. So, what's the secret sauce behind that iconic pony? We're going to dig in. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at those winning holiday numbers. Then, we'll dive into the strategy behind it all, something they called the next great chapter. After that, we'll check out the growth engine to see the proof. We'll also get real about some market headwinds they're up against. And finally, we'll wrap up with the big question, what's an icon like Ralph Lauren gonna do next? Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the results. These are the numbers that really made everyone, especially Wall Street, sit up and pay attention. And look, this wasn't just a good holiday season for them. It was absolutely dominant. Let's just start with the headline number. The top line. The company raked in a massive $2.41 billion. Billion. And to put that into perspective for you, that wasn't just on target. It blew past what analysts were expecting by over $100 million. That is a huge win, especially right now when everyone's talking about a tough economy. But honestly, this next number is the one that really tells the whole story. Their average unit retail, or AUR, it shot up by an incredible 18%. Now, what that means is people weren't just buying more stuff, they were paying way more for each individual item. It's like a masterclass in premiumization, right? It's proof that the brand is so desirable, they don't have to rely on sales and discounts to move product.
So, the big question is, how in the world did they pull this off? Well, let me tell you, this was no accident. These kinds of results are the payoff from a very deliberate, multi-year strategy that the company calls its next great chapter. Yeah, the official name is Next Great Chapter Drive. And you should really think of this as their playbook. It's the framework that guides literally every decision they make, from marketing campaigns to where they open new stores. The whole thing is geared towards one goal: long-term brand elevation. And this whole plan basically stands on three main pillars. First up, just make the brand feel cool again, fresh, and part of the cultural conversation. The second pillar, double down on their classic stuff that everyone loves, but also expand into new areas with huge potential, like women's wear. And third, they want to create these amazing, immersive brand experiences in the top 30 cities around the globe. It's simple, it's focused, and, well, it's clearly working. Okay, so we've seen the plan, right? Now let's get into the good stuff, the hard data, the proof that this thing is actually working. This is where the strategy really comes to life. Okay, before we jump into the next chart, I want to quickly circle back to that term I mentioned, average unit retail, or AUR. All it means is the average price someone pays for one item. Simple, right? But when that number goes up, it's a huge deal. It means the brand has real pricing power, which is the ultimate sign of strength in the luxury world. All right, now take a look at this. It's all about acceleration. That first bar? That's last year's Q3. They had a super strong 12% growth in AUR. Pretty good. But now look at the second bar. This year, it jumped all the way to 18%. This shows you their strategy isn't just working, it's actually picking up steam. It's gaining some serious momentum. And you know what's so interesting? This whole move to be more premium, you'd think it might push some people away, right? But it's having the exact opposite effect. It's actually attracting a whole new wave of shoppers, pulling them right into the Ralph Lauren universe. Just look at these numbers here. The first bar shows they brought in 1.9 million new customers in the third quarter last year. And this year, the second bar shows they added another 2.1 million. That kind of steady, consistent growth, especially in their direct-to-consumer business, is absolutely vital for the brand's future. So you have to ask, how are they connecting with all these new people? Well, the CEO, Patrice Louvet, he put it perfectly. He said, Ralph is really much more like a movie director. Think Martin Scorsese or Steven Spielberg than he is a traditional designer. I mean, what a quote, right? They're not just selling clothes, they're selling a cinematic dream, a lifestyle. They create these cultural moments that make you feel like you're part of a story. And that kind of connection, that lasts way longer than just chasing the latest trend. And that story they're telling, it's resonating all over the world. Take a look at this breakdown of their regional growth. Yeah, you've got solid numbers in North America and Europe for sure, but the real growth engine, it's Asia. That huge slice of the pie there, that's a staggering 22% growth.
And if you dig even deeper, China alone was up over 30%. I mean, this is it. This is the proof that Ralph Lauren is making that leap from being a classic American icon to a true global luxury powerhouse. Okay, so far the picture we've painted is pretty amazing, right? But look, every great story has a little bit of conflict, and Ralph Lauren's is no different. It's time for a quick reality check on the challenges they're facing. I mean, after a quarter this good, it's easy to think they're totally unstoppable. But here's the thing, the company itself is actually the one pointing to some storm clouds on the horizon. So what are we talking about? Well, specifically, US tariffs are starting to bite, making their cost of goods go up. And think about what that means. If it costs more to make and import your products, that cost has to go somewhere, right? It goes straight to the bottom line, hitting their profitability. And to their credit, management is being super upfront about this. They're actually forecasting that these pressures could squeeze their operating margin in the next quarter. It's just a powerful reminder that no matter how strong your brand is, you're not immune to the bigger economic picture. And that brings us to our final section, and really the central question facing Ralph Lauren right now. It's that classic problem. What happens when an unstoppable force, their amazing brand momentum, runs into an immovable object, which in this case is global economic pressure? So let's just lay it out. On one side of the scale, you have this incredible brand momentum. I mean, they're firing on all cylinders. New customers, higher prices, global demand, the works. But on the other side, you've got the cold, hard reality of these economic headwinds. We're talking tariffs and rising costs that are putting a real squeeze on their profits. And so, that leaves us with the one big question. The company has done a masterful job of elevating the brand to a whole new level. But is that powerful, timeless identity, that cinematic dream, is it strong enough to power through the very real economic pressures of today? Honestly, that's the next great chapter we're all going to be watching.